It is Austin. I wanted to come on here and make a recap to kind of finish the week. So I'll go ahead and pull up what this week is looking like so far. I was able to kind of barely eke out a green week this week, which is good. So finishing Friday in the green, nice day yesterday. Wednesday was real bad. I remember I made a recap after Monday. Then Tuesday, just too much trading here for not a lot of, to just be red. I think I was probably red much more at one point. So yeah, I mean, dipping into minus 1200 there, pulling it back. So I really need to tighten things up. I mean, the trading the last several weeks has been really bad. So it's a relief to just have a green week, to be honest, just with how badly things have been going. But luckily, the market is starting to open up a little bit and the action's starting to get a little bit better. But I'll go over the trades for today. And it's hard for me to remember kind of where things were chronologically, but for a good portion of the day there in the beginning, I had multiple short positions, but I was very patient on the day. Opening up here, we had this big sell-off, and I was very patient, like not getting into these kind of moves. Actually, Nvidia is an even better example because we had this really big sell-off from 234 down to 227. And back when I was kind of newer to trading, I would often try to get in kind of somewhere on this pullback. But what you have to understand is we're bottoming out here on a larger time frame. So we're less likely to just kind of roll over. When you get a big kind of juicy green candle to the upside like that, couple wicks on the bottom, this is a setup for possible continuation to the upside. And sure enough, we fly all the way up to 232 here, and then ultimately, even on a higher time frame, that becomes an even bigger kind of move all the way back up into a larger kind of area of resistance. So it's important. That's why I always look at all these different time frames, is because you have to understand where we are in the larger time frame. Because I tried to be in trades for about 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, sometimes an hour plus. So I try to kind of get that move on higher time frames. That's just typically how I trade, is looking for those more trending type moves. So Nvidia actually, I was actually green on this stock at one point. This is my first trade. I got in a little bit. I got in pretty early here. 230.78 on this candle. It just straight up ripped me off, and we just ripped up to 232. I was quickly down like 150 bucks. And I was wanting it to kind of reject this line here, this purple line. This purple line shows a very, very large wedge forming on Nvidia. This is part of the reason I have actually a swing short on Nvidia that I'm up on right now. Not much, about 25%, which sounds like a lot, but with these types of plays, with the that I look for with the swings, I've got 20 put spreads on this, so I'm really looking for a really high RR, like really high percentage gain. I'd love to get over 1,000%, but just barely up on those right now. But anyway, so rejecting this line a couple times, I was smart enough to get out. So I actually got out here kind of at the low. I just decided to get out because I just didn't think that it was likely we're going to come back down to the lows, but I was at the same time, I was just kind of taking some profit really, because at the same time I was in Apple short as well, which was also doing well. So I was patient enough to wait for the sell-off, wait for the kind of bounce back into kind of that resistance level, and then get this thing to come back down. Here I thought for sure, Apple was looking weak against the market too, so I thought for sure we were going to come back down and touch new lows at this point. But man, we just ripped back up, and I decided to get out just above break even. I thought, that we were for sure going to put in a new high here. We're just coming up with such momentum. But I have to say, on my part, I should do better with an actual stop here. The stop should really probably be, over 50. So I probably would have gotten top ticked right there. But in hindsight, if you forget all the candles to the right of where I got out and pretend those don't exist, probably over 50 is like, at least if you're putting your stop there, you can see what the idea is. Maybe it's not perfect, but, that's making some sense. So anyway, unfortunately, I had to get out and just take 23 bucks on it. I was up about 200 on it down here, so that was really a bummer. And I, even though it's not huge profit, 200 bucks, it's nice to have that. It really kind of boosts your day, and I was probably getting ready to be done much earlier if I had just gotten out right there, because I was in Apple short, Nvidia short. I was also in Tesla short at the same time, so I was actually had 3 short positions on, which altogether I was in pretty big size, I guess, across all 3, but only 100 shares here. So I got in same kind of idea as Apple, right? Big sell off, big boost back up, but starting to lose some momentum. And this is a wedge too. So gosh, I can't. There we go. This is a wedge too, so it's important to look at this and go, okay, what does this look like? Are we going to break out above, or are we going to break down? This always rising wedge pattern, I think, is a bearish one. Sure enough, we did break down. I took half off here, but then, man, wham, right back up in one candle, just really just slicing me back to the upside. So I unfortunately had to get out at 60, so I put my stop kind of above this high here, and yeah, I got stopped out the other half. So that was a bummer. So on Apple, I had to get out. On Nvidia, I had to get out. Or Nvidia, I actually took profit, but I was only up like $90 because I had pretty small size on that one. And then the next thing I did after that was I was pretty much sitting at small profit on the day, because I was green on Apple, green on Nvidia a little bit, and green on Tesla just a little bit. Then I took this super dumb short on Nvidia at the low. I mean, 66. Is that the low of this candle? Okay, the low of this candle is 64. So I was 2 cents off the low. Bad entry, but I thought we were kind of breaking down out of this zone. It's just not a big enough break there, but I was just too eager. I just wanted something. I thought we were going to roll over off 233. I really thought we were going to come back down. We did come back down. And again, you just have to zoom out and look at the higher time frames, because you have to understand the cycles, right? There's cycles, and you don't want to get caught in the middle of a cycle to the upside if you're going to go short. So that's ultimately what happened, and I quickly took a pretty big beating on that right here. So it came back down. I was smart enough to get half out for like break even here, so I sized down because I was like, I'm gonna give this a chance to do what I want, but I don't know. We might still be trending up, and sure enough, we were trending up, and I did not get out of it fast enough. So I ended up taking a pretty actually big loss on this. So you can see short at 232.66, and I'm out for like a $270 loss. So that's why I'm sitting down 170 on it. So that's just a real bummer. And then it would float up about another dollar before ultimately making the move that I wanted toward the end of the day, coming all the way back down. So yeah, not really great stuff there. So this is ultimately where the short was in this level here. So I was just a little too eager, thinking that we might be turning around earlier. So that was not good. But at least I had the awareness to kind of size down there. And I want to really there was a big trade that I had coming up that I want to show you. So the thing I did after that, there was FRC, First Republic Bank. So the banks have been going crazy. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm sure you guys are already aware of what's going on with SVB. It's funny, I actually had interviews with SVB a couple weeks ago. I did not get the job. I did not get the offer letter from them. But I guess, I'm glad I didn't, because it's like, they're insolvent now within 2 days. So it's crazy, because I used to work at a bank that they bought. Anyway, so here we have just some craziness on the banks. And First Republic Bank today, man, right off the opening about at $70, so big gap down from yesterday. And then within just 15 minutes really of the market opening, halting multiple times, and then all the way back up. I mean, this is nuts, right? This is nuts action here. But I did take one little stab on this to the short side, because we were coming up so much from the lows. I mean, and just look at this day, but we were coming up so aggressively. This is starting to get parabolic here. and we're starting to almost fill the gap. So that was the short. Was I was a little too early, so I had the right idea again. But this SVB thing, it's not like it's not bad, and so we're coming all the way back up, retracing. I just think, and again, I had the right idea, and then right here halted down. This was some news headlines came out. They started saying that SVB had actually failed. So that's when that happened, and I think the banks definitely reacted to that. So I had the right idea, just slightly wrong timing. Not something I was willing to hold for very long. I only had 50 shares, but I was not prepared to take this thing to the moon. So anyway, so that was a small trade there. Then the big trade that I had today was on Tesla. This one I was just getting short, and this one I talk about the cycles, right? We had this big kind of up cycle right here, so big up move there, but Tesla's been super weak. You can see that daily chart, and I see the support at 166. I've got a support line drawn there. That's the exact level that when I had my big Tesla trade where I bought all those put spreads on it and made that awesome trade, that was the level I was looking at. So I really think we need to kind of firmly test that level a little bit better. So I have this kind of overall mindset that I do think Tesla's going to keep coming down. It did close the day lower than it opened. And anyway, so we had this big up cycle. So thinking that it's going to come back down, again, looking at the market, what's the market doing? The market was kind of at resistance as well. And so just getting short in here. And what I was looking at was, I'll show it here. Take a look at the 15-minute view on this. Let me get the trades off so you can see it a little better, but take a look at the 15-minute chart, because this is where I had resistance drawn right here. It's almost perfect. It's not quite, but this is pretty darn good. The move up, and then when this 15-minute candle closed under, this is like a double top to me. And at that point, I felt very secure in the short and just trying to be patient through it. It was coming down, but coming down a little bit slowly. But it had some bigger moments as well. But I'll put the trades back on. You can see I actually went long on it first. I went long on it as we were breaking out above, but just the price action just was not going. And when I got long, it was like stair-stepping up, stair-stepping up. At this point, as it's coming to new highs, I really want to see it start to pull away and accelerate. Volume come in, make new highs. That didn't happen, and I ended up stopping out. I was up about $100 on it. Then I had to stop out. I was up like 150 at the high here. And then I stopped out and pretty much flipped short on it as it started to sell off. And I was like, all right. Then I started to look at the higher time frames. Market at resistance, and we weren't breaking out, we weren't making the move, so went short, and I shorted 400 shares. So it shows 700. I was long the 300, got out, and then shorted 400, then started taking profit along the way down. Unfortunately, I did not stick to my rule. I had my profit take on 200 shares I had at 174, and here it tried to come down, and I ended up stopping out of 100 just to lock in the green day. I didn't want any risk because I was still short 200, which is a decent amount at this point, and was still looking for lower, but I decided to just take some off and hold the last 100. I held the last 100 all the way through here as it was ripping up against me, but I was still up on the trade, so as I saw it, still a good chance it was going to come back down. Sure enough, it did. The market started coming down. We broke down here. I had my take profit at 173.75. And it touched that to the penny. I did not get filled, but that's where my order was. Came back down, missed it, ripped back up. Then we were coming back down here. We came down through my take profit, but I had moved it. I moved it lower to 173. I got a little greedy, and I shouldn't have done that, and it cost me about $100 because I ended up stopping out at 174.75 versus where I would have gotten out at 173.75. So a little bit of a lesson learned there, and I got stopped out pretty much at the high before it rolled over another, $3 a share from where I got out. I mean, that's trading. So anyway, still a good trade. Was able to make about $750 on that one. And finishing the day up 440 today. So finishing the week green, and then I really want next week to tighten things up. I'm going to think of some things that I can do to make that happen. One thing I'm thinking about is just limiting myself to just 3 trades per day, so I make sure that what I'm taking is really high quality. Maybe even 2 trades a day, because just really limiting that and trying to find the best stuff and making sure that I'm looking at the higher time frames, getting in kind of where you should, right? Not too early, right? Don't get in anywhere in here. Don't get fooled, right? Wait for the actual resistance to come in on those higher time frames. It gets crazy. You can't see it with all those trades, but wait for that actual resistance level to come through, get short, and then be on the right side of it. So that's really what I'm focused on, and I think I am gonna that's what I'm gonna think about this weekend, is what to do next week to ensure the best possible week. And I really want to be sticking to a max loss per day. I lost 900 on Wednesday. I really don't want that to be happening. So yeah, just gonna try to tighten things up, and I'll think about that and what to do for next week. I got to come up with a plan, but for now, just recapping what happened this week. All right, that's it from me, guys. I'll hopefully be doing another recap here shortly. So I'll see you guys next week. All right, bye bye.